goes all the way back in 1963, more than 50 years ago, that Walt Disney started buying up land here in Orlando.
Yeah, there's some pretty amazing stories about that, how he was looking at other locations up in St. Louis, and he was looking up in Vegas was one of the stories,
yeah.
South Florida. But when he found this spot, you know what, he wanted to keep it a secret. But news started leaking out that he had found a spot here in Central Florida to build his latest theme park. So he held a news conference and made a video to explain exactly what he was going to be doing.
As you can see on this map, we have a perfect location in Florida, almost in the very center of the state. In fact, we selected this site because it's so easy for tourists and Florida residents to get here by automobile.
Yes, it all goes back to that X on the map that he put down when he was flying over that area. Well, I spoke with a local woman whose family owned much of that property that eventually became Disney World. Walt Disney flew over this land, looked out the window, and said, "That is it." Mary Demetree joins me this morning to talk about that X on the map and that piece of land. Mary, good to see you. Appreciate you coming out today. Okay, Walt Disney said he picked this point on the map. That was your family land.
Yes.
Tell us what you remember about the land before Walt Disney came into the picture.
I remember my father talking about this land that they had, which was a bunch of cow pasture and wetlands, and he and this group of cousins and other business owners said, what the heck did we buy that for? We're making mortgage payments every month, and we're just sitting on this piece of land, and it's wet. And so the story that I remember is that Walt Disney was originally looking at the land in Ocala, and when he was flying around the area, he saw the wetland that they were complaining about, and he said, "That's Tom Sawyer's Island, right there." And that's when he made the decision not to go into Ocala, but to Orlando.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because when I was out at Disney earlier this week, I was wondering where your land was. So your old family land is where Magic Kingdom is now.
All of Magic Kingdom and some of Epcot. It was 12,500 acres.
So what was that day like when Walt and maybe Roy Disney comes and says, "We want to buy your land"? Did your dad tell you about that?
Yeah, he told us, but he didn't know who it was, because there were different attorneys all over the country disguising themselves as to who was buying the land. Disney was not ready to give it away because they knew once everyone figured out it was them, they would go speculate. One day, Dad said he got up in the morning and he was just reading the newspaper and he saw supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. He said, "Oh my God, that's who it is. It's buying the land."
So how did that purchase change your family's history?
People think, wow, they made a killing on this land. They basically sold that land for just a little over the mortgage. There was no money. They were so ready, and he said they went out and celebrated, the group of men, when they sold the land, because they got out from under the mortgage. They made a few bucks, but it wasn't anything like it should have been.
Did you get to meet Walt Disney? Did you get to talk with him about what was happening, or did it just happen around you?
What I remember is around the time that all this was happening, Walt was sick with cancer. And so I didn't get to meet him, although he did see the opening of the Magic Kingdom. But we never got to meet Walt because he died before Epcot even got built. But they say that he used to lie on his back in the hospital bed, and they put the maps up of what Epcot was going to look like. I don't know if they did it with the Magic Kingdom, but he was so sick, but he would try to direct it from his hospital bed looking up. So we didn't get to meet him, but he is part of our history.
Mary, it's great hearing your history on this. I do appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, John.